Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 21st of September and we'll be discussing the Hindu newspaper analysis in this session. And I would also like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. Now, before taking up detailed analysis of the newspaper, let's see overview and let's understand that which articles are important in today's newspaper. So on first page, we have this article Lok Sabha passes historic women's reservation bill. We'll take this particular article briefly. There is one editorial article also that has come on this line. Then after that, India issues a tit for tat travel advisory for Canada. So basically, Canada issued a travel advisory for the Canadian people coming to India, Jammu and Kashmir particularly. So India has also issued a travel advisory saying this thing that if you are going to Canada, you need to be careful. So this is something that has happened, and guys, we have seen that in last few days relations between India and Canada are facing an irritant where the Prime Minister of Canada said that there is the involvement of Indians in killing of a one killing of a Niger who was a Khalistani supporter. Okay, then moving on. After that, we have advertisements, etc. Nothing important. Then, guys, in the regional section, advertisements, regional issues, etc. They have been given. So directly, we will be moving on in this particular direction, and will come to the editorial section. As we talk about editorial section, okay. So in editorial section, the first article that we have, taking a giant leap for a new ethics in outer space. Now, guys, the article's heading looks important and it looks that it is talking about a very important thing. But I have read this entire article. Article is talking about that earlier as there was the race going, as there was the race going on to reach to the Antarctica and all such kind of a thing. Now there is a race to reach the outer space. Okay. And here they have given that, okay, which people reached Antarctica and where, in which year, and all such kind of a things. Nothing much important has been given in this particular article. Okay. Then further here, side article, it is talking about women's reservation bill. Okay, we'll club it with the first page article. Then Vietnam, a key player piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle, will take this article. Keep calm will take this particular article also. Then moving on, 3 years of Abraham Accord will take this particular article also. Then specter of solar scam in Kerala. Okay, so this is a state of play article talking about the political dimension. Nothing much important is given. Then guys, further moving on in this particular direction, a review of Pakistan's higher judiciary. No need to go and take this review of Pakistan's higher judiciary for the exam point of view. Then, guys, what is the tussle between central government and the Delhi Waqf Board? So, 123 properties, which includes the mosques, dargahs, graveyards, they have been taken up. Okay, and for that particular thing, there was a committee that was also constituted. So that entire controversy is being explained. Again, no need to go in this particular article for exam point of view. Then further moving on, White House backs probe into serious allegation. John Kirby. Okay, so guys, this is again going on in this particular dimension only. India Canada issue. Then serious allegation says Australia. So Australia, USA, they all are saying this particular thing that such kind of a thing should not have been said by Canada. Canada should not have made unsubstantiated allegations on India that India has played the role in the killing of Niger. Then further moving on, now guys, understand this particular thing that I have seen that on YouTube there are full length videos that are being made just on this particular topic explaining the entire timeline. Guys, if you are preparing for UPSC examination, no need to go in this entire thing for particular exam purpose. Okay, then further further guys, moving on in this particular direction, US considering Modi's invite to Biden to be chief guest at Republic Day. Okay, then moving on after that, guys, here we have an article, delimitation debate, gender versus regional caste identities. We'll take this particular article. Constitution bench to examine validity of extending quota. We'll take this particular article also. Then on world page, Karabakh operation halted Azerbaijan. Okay, US Attorney General denies politicization of Justice Department. Now here, guys, there is no article particularly related to the India's international interest or foreign policy. Nothing important. ADB lowers India's GDP growth outlook for the fiscal to 6.3%. Now, one thing, guys, that from time to time, there will be the growth estimates that will be given. Sometimes Asian Developmental Bank, sometimes Moody's will be giving it. Sometimes some other body will be giving the growth growth outlook for India. Now it depends on large number of factors. For example, inflation. For example, inflation, situation of employment, okay, and other global as well as the regional prospects. Now, basically, my point is that you are not required to track all these estimates that are being given, because every coming month they will change because of the changing economic situation. Okay, then after that, guys, we have the sports page. Okay, and when we talk about the science page today, so science page talks about the oldest yet fossils of a plant eating dinosaur found in Rajasthan. I already told you that in science page some days there are good articles, but some days articles are there which are not important specifically for our UPSC examination. So this talks about the fossils of a dinosaur that has been found. Now what is the name of this particular dinosaur, or what is the name that has been given to this particular dinosaur? So the name that has been given is Thorosaurus indicus. The name that has been given is Thorosaurus indicus. Now, Thoro comes from the word Thar. So as the fossil of dinosaur have been found in Thar, so Thorosaurus indicus is the name that has been given. Now, basically, what has happened? Guys, what has happened? So basically, IIT Roorkee scientists, now that just they are investigating the skeletons and all such kind of a things of the dinosaur. Moving on, no need to go, guys, in too much of detail in this particular thing. Fine. So that is all about the overview, and now let's discuss all these relevant articles one by one in detail. Now, I told you that you can download synoptic notes. So these are the synoptic notes which are available on our Telegram group. And every class we start with the GS quotation. So we'll take the quotation from Barack Obama, the former US president. Barack Obama says, learning to stand in somebody else's shoes, to see through their eyes, that's how peace begins. And it's up to you to make that happen. Empathy is a quality of character that can change the world. So learning to stand in somebody else's shoes, to see through their eyes, it means to have an empathy. Empathy is when you can understand the other person's point of view. So when you understand other person's point of view, when you understand other people's vulnerability, from that particular moment, peace begins. From that particular moment, the peace begins. And it is the quality of a leader. That leader will have empathy in the character. And empathy is the most important value. It can change the entire world. Now, you can use this particular idea with respect to GS paper number 4, ethics. GS paper number 4, ethics, because in ethics topic of foundational value, empathy as a value has directly been given in our syllabus. Okay, moving on, and let's take first article for today. So first article that we have, Lok Sabha passes historic women reservation bill. Okay. So, guys, yesterday as well as the day before yesterday, we have taken this particular article on women's reservation bill. Okay. So, if you are following it, you have already seen it. Now, when we talk about, guys, women's reservation bill, so I told you that the National Perspective Plan for Women that came way back in 1988. Okay. Already yesterday I have discussed. If you have not seen it, please do see that particular video also. So, National Perspective Plan for Women 1988 for the first time talked about that one third of the seats in Legislative Assembly as well as the Parliament should be reserved for women. Okay. Then after that, the National Policy on Empowerment of Women that came, it also talked about that one third seats should be reserved for the women. Okay. And Constitutional Amendment Bill was also brought in 1996 in Parliament for reserving one third seats of women in Parliament as well as in State Legislative Assembly. But up till now, nothing has happened in this particular direction. Now, guys, finally in 2023, government has again come out with the Constitutional Amendment Bill, that is 128 Constitutional Amendment Bill. And this particular bill aims to reserve one third of the seats in Parliament as well as a State Legislative Assembly for the women. Parliament as well as State Legislative Assembly for the women. Now this particular bill is introduced in Lok Sabha, and it has already been passed in Lok Sabha. Now this particular bill will be brought in Rajya Sabha, and there are 2 days that are there, and in these 2 days it is also expected that in Rajya Sabha also the bill will be passed. Now this particular bill, as we talk about, and by the way, yesterday I have discussed one full page article coming on text, which came in text and context, where we have discussed the amendment procedure within our constitution. I told you that there are three types of ways in which the constitution can be amended: by simple majority, by special majority, and by special majority plus ratification, approval of half of the states. Now, as we talk about this particular bill, guys, this particular bill will be passed through special majority. This particular bill will be passed through special majority. Which type of special majority? 2 by 3rd of member present and voting plus 50% of the total members of the house. Okay. And after that, ratification or the approval of the 50% of the states, half of the states, that is also needed for this particular bill. Now, this particular bill will be instrumental for women empowerment, because as we talk about, guys, women participation in politics, it has been very much low. In panchayats, urban local bodies, it is good. And when we talk about panchayat, around 50% panchayat members are women. Why? Because 73rd constitutional, 74th constitutional amendment act came. It gave that particular place to women. It gave reservation to women. But when we talk about Lok Sabha, as per the Global Gender Gap report, just 15.1% of MPs in Lok Sabha are women. So there exists a kind of a glass ceiling. Glass ceiling. What is a glass ceiling? So glass ceiling is an invisible barrier which prevents women to go beyond a particular level. So in panchayat, 50% panchayat member are women, but in legislative assembly, parliament, women representation is very less. 15% in parliament, just 10% in state legislative assembly, 50% in panchayats. So there is a invisible barrier, glass ceiling. Okay, and that glass ceiling will be broken by this 33% quota. Will be broken by this 33% quota. Now, guys, basically in this particular bill, there and also we need to also, it is to be appreciated that we now have shifted to new parliament, and first bill that got passed in this new parliament was the bill for reservation of the seats for women. Now, as of now, guys, it has been provided that this particular bill will be will not be implemented. Now see, 33% reservation will not be given in 2024 general election. Will not be given in 2024 general election. Why? Because there are two conditions on which the bill has been linked. Condition number one, that we will be giving this 33% reservation after delimitation and census that will happen. After delimitation and census that will happen. Now, guys, what is delimitation? What is delimitation? So basically, in our country, we divide the entire country in constituencies, and every constituency is represented by one particular representative. For example, for the Lok Sabha, we divide our constituencies, okay, and one constituency is represented by one MP. And for the state legislative assembly, a state is divided in constituencies, and one constituency is represented by one MLA. Now we want to ensure that similar number of people are being represented by every member, by every representative. Now, now, guys, constantly population is changing. Population is going up, it is going down. Constantly, population is changing. So, as population changes, after every few years, we need to again carry delimitation. We need to again revise the constituencies. Some constituency size will be increased, some will be decreased. Let's say a particular place population is increased too much, that constituency might be divided in two parts. So the constituencies are revised, okay, on the basis of population criteria. Now, guys, in 2026 we need to carry delimitation, where the seats will be revised. Seats in legislative assembly will be revised, seats in parliament will be revised. So delimitation will happen in 2026, and it is being said that after delimitation and census will give this 33% quota. Now question marks have been raised that what it has to do with women. Okay, you in delimitation you will be again be re-establishing the territorial constituencies, but how but how now giving quota will impact that particular thing? So you go forward with the women quota. Why you are linking it with these two particular factors? So this is something that has come. Now, guys, one more thing is there, that this particular bill also provides this thing. Now you know this thing already, that seats for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are also reserved. So within the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, 33% quota for women will be kept aside. Okay. So the bill also mandates that 1/3 of the seats reserved for the SC and STs, they will also be set aside for women. Okay. That also be aside for the women. Now, for OBC, such quota was not given. Okay, now the opposition parties, they are asking this particular thing, that specifically they are asking this particular thing, that internal quota for women from OBC should also be there. Okay, and it should not be used to delay the implementation. Now opposition, two things are there coming. SC and ST seats are there. Okay, and within SC ST 33% are to be reserved for women. They are also talking about that some seats are also to be reserved for OBC women specifically. And for this particular thing, you please don't delay the implementation of bill. So this is something that has happened. Now article says this particular thing, that over the years we have seen this particular thing, that women, they have played such an important role wherever we have given the chance to the women. When women are given representation in panchayats, etc., they have played a very important role. So now women should also be given place in legislative assemblies as well as Lok Sabha. Women, they struggle at multiple fronts. For example, access of health is not there with women, nutrition, their education, they also don't have safe spaces. Okay, and because of these particular things, women suffer on multiple counts. And now women are the ones, if we bring women representatives, they can put forward their concerns more properly in Lok Sabha. So therefore 33% quota will solve many of these problems for the women. Now moving on to next article moving on to next article moving on to next article Delimitation debate, gender versus regional caste identity. Delimitation debate, gender versus regional caste identity. Now guys, this particular article also will take with respect to the GS paper number 2 polity. GS paper number 2 polity. Now, what the article is actually talking about. So basically, already we have discussed delimitation in previous article. So basically, article is saying this thing, that now what will happen in 2026. Now two developments are going on. We'll understand this from the very scratch, from the very start. You know this thing, that the two developments right now are going on, which will change the political landscape in India. What are these two developments? Number one, I told you already that in 2026, delimitation will be carried. Delimitation will be carried. What will happen? Political territorial constituencies will be revised. Okay, on the basis of population assessment. Okay, and second, what is happening? 33% seats are being reserved to the women. Now these two influences will impact Indian politics. How it will impact Indian politics? How it will impact Indian politics? Number one, guys. Basically, guys, what has happened since basically, guys, what happened in 2002? Delimitation was to be carried, but at that point of a time, delimitation was postponed to 2026. Why delimitation was postponed to 2026? Because see, what has happened since 1970 onwards, South Indian states, they have reduced their population substantially because of adoption of family planning measures. So South Indian states have reduced their population. Now, when we decide the constituency are decided on the basis of population. Constituencies are to be decided on the basis of population. Now, South Indian states population has went down. So obviously they will now get less seats. North India's population has gone up. And as more people are living in North India will get more seats. South India will get less seats. North India will get more seats. This concern came in 2002, and it was said that let's postpone delimitation to 2026, because in these 24 years, North India will also reduce their population. So therefore, disadvantage will not come to South India. But we have seen that in all these particular years, North India's population has not declined. Rather, North India's population has actually increased even more. So basically, what will happen because of this particular thing? Because of this particular thing, North India will get more seats in Lok Sabha. North India will get more seats in Lok Sabha. For example, North India, northern states will get 32 more seats in Lok Sabha, whereas southern India, it will get 24 less seats in the Lok Sabha after delimitation is carried. So here we see that a shift is going from south to north and east of India. Shift is going from south to the north and east India. North India, East India, their population is more, they will get more seats. South India will face a kind of a loss because of this particular thing. So basically, this is one. Second is, one third of the seats are being reserved for the women. So basically, power is being shifted. Power is being shifting from women, from men. Largely, men were dominating the politics, and now the power is shifting to women. So two kind of shifts are now coming. Two kind of shifts are now coming. Shift of political power from the southern states to the region above the Vindhyas, means to the northern, as well as shift is going from the men to the women. These are the two shifts that are now coming. Okay. Now, I already told you that northern India has not reduced their population drastically. And if we see northern Indian states population in rate, for example, MP, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, their population growth rate, decennial, 10-year population growth rate was 12% to 15%, whereas southern India's population growth rate are 6% to 10%. Okay. This is something that is going on. Now, many of the parties, many of the state parties who are specifically many of the parties who specifically uh, uh, many of the parties who have specifically carried the OBC driven politics, they are also providing this particular thing. They are also saying this particular thing, that as 33% seats are being reserved for women, OBC women should be given a specific, a separate quota. In that 33% seats, women, OBC women should also be given an internal quota. Otherwise, the women from higher caste only will be getting the power. Why? So these are all these ideas that have been given in this particular article. Now, moving on to next article. Keep calm. Now, this article we will see with respect to GS paper number 3 environment. GS paper number 3 environment. This article will see with respect to the GS paper number 3 environment. Okay. Now, basically, uh, guys, when we talk about the month of August was the driest year in last 100 years. Sorry, driest month. August was the driest month in last 100 years. And because of this particular thing, it is being said that we need to ensure that extreme climatic events that are emerging, we need to control them. Largely, it has been said that because of climate change, such kind of shifts are coming. Rainfalls have declined. Okay. And we need to urgently do something. And guys, whenever we talk about the climate change, when we talk about the temperature that is increasing, one suggestion often comes, that is SRM, solar radiation management. One suggestion comes, that is SRM, solar radiation management. What is solar radiation management? Let's understand this thing. So basically, incoming solar radiation are coming on Earth. We need to do some, there are some interventions that can be done, that the number of solar rays that are reaching the Earth, they can be reduced. Many suggestions are given. For example, one suggestion is given that what we do in the stratosphere of the Earth, we inject aerosols, very fine fragments, fine aerosols should be injected in the stratosphere. What will happen? Those aerosols will deflect the incoming solar radiation, and by that, what will happen? By that thing, what will happen? Less solar rays will reach the Earth, and as less solar rays will reach the Earth, what will happen? That much temperature rise will not happen. Earth will get cooled down. So that is one thing. Okay. Also, it is said that in the stratosphere, we should just release a lot of small pieces of glass, which will again reflect the sun rays. So many such measures are suggested under the solar radiation management, which will block the incoming solar radiation and will consequently be cooling the Earth surface. Now, understand this particular thing, that this solar radiation management, we have not studied this up till now, and there can be a lot of unintended consequences also which can happen. For example, when you are doing the solar radiation management, okay, there might be the possibility that some places receive less rainfall, some places receive more rainfall. For example, it has been said that there is a possibility that through this solar radiation management experiment, sorry, there might be possibility that over the Horn of Africa, it it receives more than expected rainfall, and that will trigger the locust swarm. It will trigger the locust swarm. Now, what is the locust swarm? Uh, so basically, guys, here you can see the photograph. So these are the locust. These are the locust. Okay. Now, in 2022, there was a big locust swarm that came to India. By the way, on this locust, I have made a separate video on our channel also. You can search and you will get this video. So basically, what happens when there are a lot of rains that happened in the region of Horn of Africa, there is population of locusts that increases there, and these locusts, they fly towards India and Pakistan, and as they fly towards India and Pakistan, they damage all the crops that come in between. So if any solar radiation management is done, and if it increases the rains over the Horn of Africa, this locust swarm that will come, it will largely disturbing the crops in India and Pakistan. This is one of an impact that is there. There can be many different kind of impacts that can happen. This is just one. So we need to study the solar radiation management exercise more properly, and then only we should go forward with that. Now, why we are talking about it? Because guys, recently there was this climate overshoot commission which released a report. Climate overshoot commission released a report, and it provided this particular thing that SRM, solar radiation management like technologies, can be used. Why? Because in Paris we have taken an agreement that by 20 in Paris we have taken an agreement that we will ensure that the temperature does not rises beyond 2 degrees Celsius, and if possible 1.5 degrees Celsius. We have taken this particular pledge in Paris. We have taken this pledge in Paris. But up till now, we are not able to fulfill that pledge, and time is also passing. So we need some radical solutions. And therefore, they say that there is a possibility that we can use it. So they are trying to retain it. Now, it is being said that we should not retain it because it might have a lot of unintended consequences. And by this, what will happen? The developed countries will shrug off their responsibility. Now developed countries, they have to ensure that they give funding to developing country, but then they will shrug off that. Okay, all these things have been there. Now moving on to next article. 3 years of the Abraham Accord. 3 years of the Abraham Accord. This article will see with respect to GS paper number 2 international affairs. GS paper number 2 international affairs. Now, first of all, I will give you some basic background information. And after this background information, we will go in the details. We'll go in the details. So basically, okay. So basically, guys, what happened? What was this Abraham Accord? So in 2020, the Abraham Accord was mediated by USA. Now see this particular thing. Gulf countries and Israel, they have rivalry since the 1950s. Why? Because when Israel was created, the Gulf nations, they were not happy with the formation of Israel, because according to Gulf countries, Israel has been established on the Arab land, and forcefully Israel has taken up the Arab lands. So therefore, Arab countries, fine, Arab countries and Israel, they are having rivalry from a very long period, and even diplomatic relations between Israel and Arab countries, they are not more. Much of the Arab countries and Israel, they also don't have diplomatic relation. Now, what happened in 2022? Because of the US mediation, diplomatic relations got started between Israel, UAE, and Bahrain. Israel, UAE, and Bahrain. So diplomatic relations got started between Israel, UAE, and Bahrain. And recently, Morocco has also joined it. So this normalization agreement between Israel, UAE, Bahrain, it was called as the Abraham Accords. And because of this particular normalization, what has happened? Economic trade has increased, people to people ties have increased. Now, this particular article, as we talk about, this article is written by the as Israel's ambassador to India. So he will be often in this particular article, the word we, us will be used. So this article is written by the Israel's ambassador, so you understand that. So now it is being said that by this agreement, the normalization of peace has happened. Normalization of peace has happened between Israel and the Arab world, and it has opened up a lot of opportunities in which India is also getting benefited. How India is getting benefited? Let's understand this. So basically, India maintains congenial relation with both Israel as well as Arab world. But when their relations were not normalized, if we are interacting with Israel, Arab world will have problem. If we are interacting with Arab, Israel will have problem. But now both have become friends. So we can interact with both at the time simultaneously and it will not be a problem. So India has got a benefited. Moreover, also it is being said that because of this normalization agreement, there is regional connectivity that has been enhanced between Israel and UAE. And large number of Indian people, Indian diaspora, they are working in the Gulf. Now easily they can move between Israel and UAE. It has benefited them. Large number of students also are studying in this particular region. For example, large number of students are studying in Israel as well as in UAE. So they can move through and fro because of this particular agreement. So this connectivity has helped Indian students as well as the diaspora working there. Moreover, recently, guys, because of this particular Abraham Accord, what has happened? Relations had got normalized, and as relations are getting normalized, recently there was the Prosperity Green and Blue Agreement that has been signed between Israel, UAE, and Jordan. And as a part of this particular agreement, what will happen? There will be the solar energy, 600 megawatt of solar electricity, okay, will be provided to Israel through the solar plant that will be established in Jordan. Right? So solar plant will be established in Jordan that will supply electricity to Israel. And in return, what will happen? Desalination plant in Israel would deliver 200 million cubic meter of water to Jordan. So Israel is providing water to Jordan. Jordan is providing electricity to the Israel. Now, why this thing is possible? Because of the normalization of relations that is happening. So countries themselves are getting benefit. Indian students, Indian diaspora is getting benefited. Moreover, article also says this particular thing that many of the multinational companies who have their presence in the Gulf as well as Israel, they are also getting benefit because of the increased connectivity. Now, on the lines of the Abraham Accord, there was after Abraham Accord, there was this I2U2 also that has got created. What is I2U2 group? I2U2 group consists Israel, India, UAE, and US. Now, this group could not have been possible without the Abraham Accord. So, this group, I2U2, where the four countries, Israel, India, UAE, and US, have come together. Now, this particular group will focus on bringing the joint investment in water, energy, transportation, space, health, food security. And a large chunk of money that will be mobilized by this I2U2, this money will come to India. And this money would not have come to India if I2U2 was not there. And I2U2 could not have been possible if Abraham Accord is not there. So Abraham Accord has been a win-win situation for all, even including the India. Okay, that is about it. Now moving to next article. Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. Okay, moving on. But guys, before taking it up, I have insisted you many number of times, and I know that you might also not be liking that, but please guys, support the video, please like the video, please comment on video, because it is too much crucial for the survival of this entire initiative. Guys, you please need to understand this particular thing that, see, I'm running this initiative from 2020. Now it is already 2023, and 2023 is about to over. Okay, and if we will not get enough of engagement on this particular initiative, we need to divert our resources to some other thing, and we will never get the response without your support. How your support is crucial, because YouTube algorithm works on this particular thing, that the engagement that you will show on the video in terms of likes, in terms of recommending the video to other friends. So your likes, your comment on the video, they show a positive engagement to YouTube, and YouTube supports our channel. Because right now, if you'll go to the Hindu newspaper analysis, if you just type the Hindu newspaper analysis, you will never find the recommendation of our channel. Very rarely you will find that recommendation. Okay, so why that is not there? Because algorithm doesn't support the channel, because engagements are less. So I also told you that if you will just go after 2 days and you will go back, you will find that only 10% of the students if there are 3000 views, likes will be 300 to 400. So 10-12% students are only liking the video, and by that, that this initiative, I am afraid, might not survive for long, because you cannot just think that from one side all the things will come and you guys are not going, if you are not going to help, that cannot happen. Okay, so this is something that, guys, I expect from you, and I have said this thing 2-3 times, but I will also not be saying this thing, and one day we need to suspend it. Okay, and then there might not be a possibility to go back, because endlessly, if there is no fruitful thing coming, we cannot go for that thing. You also understand this. Okay, so this is something, guys, that I seriously request from you guys, because it really becomes very frustrating that we put so much of effort in every day in the video, but students, they are not just willing to support the initiative in just terms of engagement. So this is something that I expect. Okay, moving on. Vietnam, the key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. Now, basically, recently what has happened, there is a meeting that has happened between General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam and the US President. Now, as they are meeting in Vietnam, basically it opens a new chapter between US Vietnam relation. You might be knowing that in Cold War, US had directly a war with Vietnam, and this was a low point between US Vietnam relations. It was a low point between the US Vietnam relations. Now what has happened? US and Vietnam have also expanded their relation. So recently, US Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership has been started up. So US Vietnam relations have been elevated to US Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Now, when we talk about, guys, US Vietnam, you need to understand that why US is becoming so much interested in Vietnam. During Cold War, US was involved in Vietnam War, but now USA is increasing their partnership to US Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Why this has become possible? It is because of the rise of China. So as China is rising, in order to contain China, US needs allies in Indo-Pacific, and Vietnam is also frustrated with China. So it is supporting Vietnam so that it gets an ally. Now, already there are many other initiatives that have also been started. For example, in 2022, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity was launched by the USA along with Vietnam, along with Vietnam. After that, US Vietnam are also expanding their ties in the science, technology, health, digital innovation, cooperation, training, high quality workforce, climate change, okay, defense relationships. All these particular things are happening. So basically, why? Again, why US is supporting Vietnam? Again, because of the rise of China that is going on. Now, right now, guys, Vietnam, now see, it's not only US needs Vietnam, but Vietnam also needs USA. Why? Because you know this particular thing, that right now there is this Russia-Ukraine war is going on. And as this Russia-Ukraine war is going on, Russia was the largest supplier of weapon to Vietnam. But now Russia cannot supply weapon to Vietnam. So Vietnam needs new partner. And who is this new partner? This new partner is in the form of USA. It is in the form of USA. And USA also sees an opportunity to export their weaponry to Vietnam. So it is a win-win situation for both, and therefore the relation have increased. Then secondly guys, that these two countries, USA and Vietnam, are also increasing investment in critical technologies such as semiconductor chips, artificial intelligence, in the space program. Now, at the same time, India is also having a separate program with the USA. And we have seen that it came in news also recently, ICET, that is Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies. Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies. Now, as we talk about this particular ICT, under ICT also, USA will provide support for critical technologies, chips, artificial intelligence, space program. So, USA is providing support to Vietnam, USA is providing support to India under ICET. So, here also, Vietnam, US, and India can come together and can standardize their products, can standardize their technologies. Okay, so this is something that is there. Okay, fine. So therefore, US Vietnam, India Vietnam, and US Vietnam India triangle can hold immense potential, can hold immense opportunities for all the countries. Fine. Moving on to next article. Moving on to next article. Constitution bench. Constitution bench to examine validity of extending quota. So basically, what this article is talking about. So basically, guys, you know already this thing that within the parliament, you know this particular thing that there is reservation that is given to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in Lok Sabha as well as state legislative assembly. Okay, in Lok Sabha as well as state legislative assembly, there are certain seats that are reserved for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Now, originally, these seats were to be reserved for 10 years. Originally, these seats were to be reserved for 10 years, that is 1960. So what happened? 1950 to 1960, for 10 years they have to exist. But since then, what has happened repeatedly what has happened through Constitutional Amendment Act, they have been extended to 10, 10, 10, 10 years. So starting from 8th Constitutional Amendment Act that came in 1969, recently 104th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in 2019. So 104th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed in 2019. And what happening? What is happening? Year and year again, it has been stretched. Now, a constitution bench has been constituted in Supreme Court, and constitution bench will study that recently this 104th Constitutional Amendment Act came, which increased the reservation for SC and ST for 10 years. Is this valid or not? Is this valid or not? So by 2030, SCs and ST community, they will enjoy reservation for 80 years since the adoption of the constitution. Originally, it was to be given only for 10 years. Originally, it was to be given only for 10 years. Only for 10 years. But now, by 2030, it would be 80 years since the time that they are enjoying this reservation in the parliament as well as the state legislative assembly. So constitution bench will examine that whether parliament can repeatedly give this extension or not. So that thing will be seen. As of now, no final judgment, no final ruling has come on this particular direction. We need to see that what the Supreme Court will provide. Right now, Supreme Court have just constituted a bench and it will study that repeated extension can be given to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, yes or no. Okay. Then we have the mains practice question for today. So question reads that the agreement between Israel, Bahrain and UAE has improved not just regional ties but also has brought better opportunities for Indians. In this context, discuss the significance of Abraham Accords. So 10 marker question for GS paper number 2. Okay. So that is all guys about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. I hope that you have understood it. Thank you so much.